Okay, I think we'll get started. Thank you firstly for joining. Welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session is on Unlock True Potential of Third-Party Data with Intelligent Integrations. Today's presenters are Taslim Tadvi, our lead product manager, and he will be joined by John Ahern, our principal solutions marketing manager. Before we get started, there's just a couple of reminders for those that also haven't used Zoom. If you have any questions during the session, which is roughly around 30 minutes long, and then we'll have time for Q&A, please use the Q&A section of Zoom to put your questions in. We will either answer them during the session or after at the end, and we should have roughly around 15-20 minutes at the end for Q&A for any questions you may have. So without further ado, I'm going to hand you over to John, who will start with the introductions.
Thanks, Samantha, and really delighted to be here today to work with my colleague Taz on this particular webinar. So as Samantha mentioned, we're going to be taking everyone through, I guess, intelligent integrations, all right? And what we're going to be looking at is a number of different kind of things here. So we're going to be really trying to figure out how the intelligent integrations solution works and what sort of benefits that it can provide to our customers from that point of view. We're going to be looking at how easy it is to set it up, and Taz has got a fantastic demo to show us how easy it is to actually ingest different data types from different vendors. So really excited to get to there, to get to see that as well. But really what we want to kind of get across in this particular webinar today is there's lots and lots of customer outcomes and lots of insights that you can drive from utilizing intelligent integrations. So whether you're talking about like data reconciliation, if you're talking about the ease of management of your solution when it comes to a data point of view, even things like, you know, ingesting all the data, correlating it, aggregating it, and then driving, you know, faster problem resolutions, utilizing things like our AIOps engine on the back of it as well. So really, really excited to get going with today's webinar. And I'm going to hand you over to my colleague Taz, but I'll be on the chat as well all throughout this session, and we'll pop in at the end. So any questions, please throw them into the chat, and we'll be monitoring those as we move through today's webinar. So delighted to be here. Over to you, Taz.
All right. Hey, thanks, John. Thanks, Samantha. And welcome everyone on board. So our topic for today's webinar is Unlock True Potential for Third-Party Data with Intelligent Integrations. Before we proceed into the webinar, just would like to showcase legal notice. So this is the confidential information. This is from the legal perspective. I'll let few seconds for you folks to read through it, and then we'll proceed to the webinar. All right. So the agenda for today's session is understanding the key challenges for integrations and how BMC Helix Intelligent Integrations helps us to solve those challenges. What are the typical third-party connectors that we support as of today? What benefits you will get out of those connectors? What's the process of configuring a connector by using intelligent integrations? And then we'll go into demo and question and answer sessions. So that's the agenda for today. And let's begin our webinar with understanding the challenges of our customers. So typically, when we interact with customers, what things that they point out is they have multiple monitoring tools for different purposes, and they have different teams that are managing those different set of third-party tools. So they have vast set of data, but it is lying here and there. It is segregated, basically. There is no one place where they can visualize that data and get insights out of it. And if you relate back to some of the research that are published by research vendors, such as Gartner's, IDC's, and Forrester's, they typically say that typical enterprise organizations have somewhere around 3 to 15 to 16 different monitoring tools for various purposes as per their departments, as per their requirements within the organization. Now, that's a very big number of monitoring tools that customers have. In terms of management of that as well, it takes time, it consumes a lot of efforts there. So the typical challenges that customers talks around integrations are the data consolidation is not happening. There are multiple tools, the data comes from that tool, people take action, the respective teams take action on that particular data, but then there is no consolidation that is happening. Similarly, there is no tracking as such or management of data as such that happens at the product level. So because it is segregated, you can see the data from one monitoring tool into that console, from second monitoring tool into the second console, but then there is no visualization per se, which has the combined data and then produces some insights out of it. And this whole process takes additional efforts and time from resources and their bandwidth to manage that integration, maintain the particular integration. If the integration tools does not have any out of the box ways of integrating, such as REST APIs or webhooks, then you have to write scripts to get that data into some different platform. And that is where the challenge of maintaining those manual integration comes into the picture. So that is also one of the highlight of the typical challenges or issues that our customers face. So from all of these challenges, there are a couple of things that customers wants to have in place. The integration of variety of tools that they have, there should be some integration in place where they can pull in all that data into a single platform, and then they can visualize, take action, do their analytics on top of it. So that's primary requirement. And then the second requirement is whatever integration tools that customers have, they should have it with ease. I mean, they don't have to create separate scripts or separate integration points and maintain that separately by adding additional people or additional efforts over there. So it should be very simple and easy to use integration facility, which brings in data from multiple third-party sources into a single platform, and then the monitoring or NOC teams can take action on top of it. So these are the typical challenges that we have observed when we interact with our customers. So then to solve these challenges, this is where the intelligent integration products comes in from BMC. The product typically what it does, it connects to third-party tools. It caters to various data types such as metrics, events, and topology. It collects all these data from third party. It processes these data as per the filtering condition that you have given. So sometimes customers may say that, I want all the events data, but then I want events from only, specific host, not from all the hosts that a third party tool is monitoring. So yes, we have those facilities as well as per the connectors available. So intelligent integrations processes that data and sends that data into BMC platform, which is being used by BMC Helix Operations Management, BMC Helix AIOps, and BMC Helix Discovery products for analysis and producing insights from there onwards. So that's the main use case that we have with respect to intelligent integrations. In terms of, let's say, if a system or if a host is being monitored by multiple monitoring systems, so then what happens to the data when it comes into the BMC platform? So don't worry. I mean, we don't create duplicate entries. The automated topology reconciliation happens, which is where our BMC Helix Discovery comes into the picture. And then you will have the unified set of data with collaboration from multiple third-party data that is coming from third-party tools. And on top of it, of course, the analytics that we apply to produce insights, that's really helpful. You can see those analytics into BMC Helix AIOps console. So typically then what customers get out of it is it's very easy to integrate the third-party data sources into the BMC platform. by doing integration, you can reduce your cost of maintaining manual integrations or maintaining different set of teams for all the different set of tools that customers are using. So there is a cost reduction factor that comes into the picture. And then, of course, it is very easy to configure and manage the connectors with a very simple unified user experience. So these are the typical benefits that customers will get once they enable the integrations from our BMC Helix Intelligent Integration product. So now let's look at what are typical connectors that we support today. So there is a very huge list of connectors. We have 25 plus connectors we support as of today. But some of the notables, that I want to mention for this is App Dynamics, AWS CloudWatch, Catchpoint, Datadog, Dynatrace, Entity, Microfocus, NNMI, Prometheus, SolarWinds, NPM, Splunk, VMware VeroOps, and Zabbix. There are other connectors as well, and you can see the complete exhaustive list on the link that I have mentioned on the screen. We will share this link into the chat as well with the participants. So as you can see, there are a lot of connectors that we support, and there are multiple others which are in the pipeline, in the roadmap, product roadmap. So this list is going to get extended. So yes, the plan is to support as much third-party connectors as we can. All right. Now, once you configure this connector, you may ask, what's the value that you will get out of this integrations that you configure within your organization? So yeah, that's a very valid and fair question. So let's look at the typical benefits that customers will get out of it. So the number one is improved event management. If you are using multiple tools, you have to see the alerts and metrics into different third parties that you are managing. So for example, if a customer has App Dynamics and Dynatrace and Splunk, they have 3 different teams and they are monitoring 3 different consoles, managing events from these 3 different consoles, and they are mitigating the issues separately without even coordination. So what happens once you enable the integrations? All that data comes into BMC platform in BMC Helix Operations Management, AIOps, and then you can figure out if a particular host is being affected by multiple third-party monitoring systems. So you can figure that out and resolve those issues. So what it does is it helps to reduce noise. It helps to provide you a single pane of glass where you can see all the events which are coming from all the third parties and take action throughout the issues life cycle. The next benefit that customers will get out of it is the data correlation. As you can see in the screenshot on the right hand side, this particular service, which is Easy Travel, that particular service has some hosts which are on which the particular service is running. Now, these hosts are being affected by, being monitored by Dynatrace and few of the other sources as well. So as you can see here in the root cause analysis, you can see that the causal nodes or the problem identification has been done. So there is data coming from Dynatrace as well, data coming from other sources as well, and you can see that all of them are combined. You can see that within a single console, yes, there is some problem, and you can get that resolved. So this is where the data correlation helps. You don't have to look at Dynatrace console and all the other third-party consoles separately. You can just view everything into the single console over here and solve your problems. Yes, continuing on that. So for root cause analysis, you can see that what exactly is the event that is affecting, which is detected by Dynatrace. You can click on the other causal nodes as well and see what are the other typical causal events that are being affected, and you can go ahead and remediate those. So this actually helps to identify what's the probable root cause for this particular service which is going down, and how to solve and resolve that problems. So the next is the predictive intelligence. For a particular service, when you are sending the data from third parties into BMC platform, we typically use the metric data from the purpose of prediction. So what we do is we let user to configure what are the mission critical metrics that they want to monitor for a particular service. And once they configure those metrics, be it from third party, be it from our own BMC's monitoring tools, we use that data, historical data, to predict what's the possible degradation of service that will happen in future. So here in the screenshot, you see there is a red dot over here. So it means that the service will get some impact in the next 3 minutes. You can see that it is mentioned in the first impact column over here. So this is how we notify the NOC engineers as well that this particular service may see some degradation or may see some issue within next 3 minutes, within next 5 minutes, as per the metrics that are configured. So this really helps customers to stay ahead of time and find out and resolve issues even before they occur. And the last one is the remediation part. We use the data from third party to point out what are the problems. But along with that, we also provide a facility where users can run the automation and mitigate that problem from the single console itself. So where the screenshot where I have shown the root cause, from that single console itself, you can select what are the automations that you want to run, and you can run those automation, and that will solve your problem. So the NOC engineers, they don't have to look into each and every console from third party and solve their problem separately. They can collaborate on the BMC Helix AIOps window itself, and they can solve the issues right in there itself. So yeah, these are the typical benefits that customers will get once they configure the integrations. But then you may ask that how difficult it is, or how it is easy it is to configure the connector. Does it require a separate team? Does it require extra manpower? Does it require extra bandwidth from people to do or enable these integrations? So no, it's very easy to configure the connector, and which I'll show you in the demo as well. There are few simple steps that you need to follow. First of all, look at the prerequisite for each of the connectors that we support. So for example, if you want to connect to App Dynamics, so just look at the prerequisites, such as what's the user access that is needed, what are the typical scenarios, deployment scenarios that you need to look into. So we have mentioned everything into BMC documentation. So just user need to verify that once. Post that, they just need to log in into Intelligent Integrations console. They have to specify the right credentials. They have to specify what type of data that they want to bring in. We support events, metrics, and topology. Users may choose to configure one or multiple of these. So accordingly, they need to configure the parameters as well. So in the screenshot, you see there are some parameters, typical parameters for configuration. For example, collection schedule, data collection window, batching size, etc. So these are the parameters that they need to configure, and this is one-time configuration. So once you do this configuration, unless and until you want to change it, it will process all the data according to this configuration, and then that's it. I mean, you just save this configuration and start the data streaming. So the data will start coming into the BMC Helix discovery, operations management, and AIOps. So that's how simple it is. And now what we can do is we can just see all of these things live, and let's see the product demo now. So I'll just switch my screens.
Yeah, we can see it now, Taz.
All right. Thanks for the confirmation, John. All right. So what we are going to do in this demo today is we'll look at how to configure a connector, how to see the data of topology in BMC Helix discovery, where to see data of events and metrics in BMC Helix operations management, and the benefits that we just talked about, how can you leverage those benefits by using BMC Helix AIOps. So yeah, let's jump into it. Before that, for this demo purpose, I have taken Dynatrace as an example. So I have logged into the Dynatrace console. I am on the host tab on the left hand side, and I can see that there are multiple hosts that we have in this demo setup. Let's say if I click on this particular host, you will see that there are multiple matrices are being monitored for this particular host, such as CPU related, disk related, page loading related, and etc. and etc. So you can see that data is present into this setup. So what we'll do is we'll use this particular host and some of the other hosts as well, for which we have the data, and let us navigate through our configuring the connector setup by using intelligent integration. So for doing that, what you have to do is, once you subscribe to BMC Helix product suites, you will log in to the BMC Helix portal, and you will see multiple products that you are entitled to. So you just need to scroll down and launch the BMC Helix Intelligent Integrations, which I'm now highlighting over here. Once you launch this, you will land on to the dashboard, the main page of BMC Helix Intelligent Integrations. As you can see, it's very simple. On the left hand side, you can see that the third party products that are configured, and on the right hand side, you see that the data is going into BMC Helix platform, that is BMC Helix Discovery, AIOps, and Operations Management. So for this demo purpose, I will configure the Dynatrace connector. I have already configured one, but I'll show you how to configure a new connector. So I'll click on the plus sign over here. So you will see the exhaustive list of connectors that we already have, and I'll select the Dynatrace connector from here. All right. Now I have to enter the credentials to fetch data from Dynatrace. So just give me a minute. I'll just enter the credentials. All right. I'll click on validate and create. All right. So the validation has done. Now we have moved to the next step, where a customer will have to choose what data type that they want to bring data from Dynatrace. So customers may choose that they want to bring only alerts, or only metrics, or only topology, or some combination of all these three. For demo purpose, I'll keep this as is. Next thing is collectors. So what are collectors? Collectors are schedulers which will collect data from third party, that is Dynatrace in this case, and bring that data into BMC Helix Intelligent Integrations. There are few settings that needs to be configured for each of the data type. So let me show you one example for alerts. So here you can see that the parameters like collection schedule. What does it mean? It means that after how many time you want to run this collection schedule or collect the data. So I have specified 5 minutes by default. So it means that after every 5 minutes, intelligent integrations will go back and collect the data from Dynatrace. The next parameter is data collection window. This means that for last how much time you want to collect the data. I have specified 5 minutes. So it means that whenever the collection schedule will run, every time it will bring data for last 5 minutes. So, so this is how it will work for collecting the data from Dynatrace. Then the data latency means if you want to have some delay while bringing that data, so you can specify that as well. Some of the other parameters which may vary depending on connectors, because each of the connectors supports different parameters. So this will vary according to connectors. So for example, here in case of Dynatrace, customer may choose that I want only, let's say, major severity or critical severity of alerts to be brought into BMC Helix platform. So they can very well do that. For the demo purpose, I have just selected all of the severities and kept all the data as default for the demo purpose over here. For matrix, yes, there are multiple other factors or other parameters that customer may choose to configure. For example, they may choose to select only few of the services or few of the hosts that they want to bring data from. So this is up to customer. They can choose, as per their requirements. I'm keeping everything default for now. And same is true for topology as well. You can configure the parameters and specify what exactly is applicable as per the requirement. Now I'll go ahead and create these collectors. Right. So the collectors are created. Now we have to configure distributors as well. So distributors will typically send data from intelligent integrations into BMC platform. So that is into discovery and BMC Helix operations management and AIOps product. The parameters are common. You can control the batching of the data. So for example, in what batch size you want to send the data. Do you want to have any batching delay? What should be the base retry delay if the data is not coming? And some of the other delay related parameters like intra delay, maximum configuration, and maximum retry duration that you want to try for fetching the data from the third party. So these are the typical fields or parameters that customer can configure as per their requirement. So I'll go ahead and create the distributors for now. All right. And I will save this stream. So for a demo, what I'll do is you will see the Dynatrace connector that is available now into the screen. I'll just enable this connector and you will see that the all the alerts, matrix and topology data started coming in. You can see from the visualization perspective as well that data is starting to flow from Dynatrace into the BMC Helix platform. And the same thing you can do or check from streams section as well. You can go over here and you can see that the collectors for alerts and matrix and topology are configured over here. So you can go ahead and run them by manually as well, or they will run as per the schedule of 5 minutes that we have configured. So here you can see that the 7 items, 7 alerts are brought into our platform. Some 6,000 plus metrics are brought into the platform, and there are a few topology items as well that will come in once we run this particular topology section as well. So yeah, that's how easy it is. I mean, you can just go ahead and create the connectors, configure the connectors that you have in your organization, and bring all that data into BMC Helix platform. So now the next step of our demo is where to visualize this data or where to look for this data into BMC Helix product suite. So let's look at how to see the topology data. For that purpose, what I've done is I have logged into BMC Helix Discovery again from the BMC Helix portal itself. You can launch this discovery. I have kept it open from for our demo purpose, and I have searched for the host that we have selected, the linux1.sw.bmc.local. So I have searched for that, and you can see that there is one search result that we have found over here. Once I click on this, you will see the details around this particular host and its topology data that we bring in from the Dynatrace. So yes, right over here, you can see the green highlighted one. That's the Linux one host. And on this host, there are multiple software instances and other typical connectors are also running. So you can see that how this particular host is connected to each of them. So this will be this is very easy from visualization perspective, that the topology data for this particular host that we are monitoring using Dynatrace is present now into discovery. And if you scroll down, you can see the details around general details around this particular host as well. So yeah, I mean, that's how easy it becomes once you get the data from third party into BMC Helix discovery from the topology perspective. The next aspect of our demo is around how to visualize the data for events and metrics. So I've logged into BMC Helix Operations Management. So here, what you can do is you can see some of the data that we have brought in from Dynatrace. So here, the row that I'm highlighting over here, you can see that this is the Dynatrace data that we have brought into. And there are some other events, the 7 items that we were talking about. So those are being brought into the BMC Helix Operations Management. So those are the events, alerts that now we can visualize into BMC Helix Operations Management. So that's from the alerts and events perspective. From monitoring perspective, yes, you have to click on the monitoring tab from operations management window and go into devices. Excuse me. Yeah, and you can click on any of the devices that we are monitoring from Dynatrace. So let's just pick, let's say this web FE01 server. Yes, so in this, you can see that, there are some metrics which are present from Dynatrace. And once you click on that, you can see, yeah, there is the data for metrics which is present. The matrices are around response time and load time. And you can see a nice visualization of the metrics that we are monitoring from Dynatrace host web FE01. So yes, I mean, this is how easily you can visualize the data from third party into a single console in terms of events and metrics. So yeah, so this is regarding the visualization of data. And now the last section of our product demo is around what are the benefits that we'll get out of once we bring all that data into these BMC Helix platform products. So for that purpose, I'll log into the BMC Helix service monitoring, which is AIOps. And for demo purpose, what I have done is I have created a service which I want to monitor. The service I'm monitoring for is for train app booking, train ticket app booking. And that service has multiple child services such as web application, web server, the production servers, etc. So some of the web server looks like it is not into a great condition. There is some issue with that. As you can see, the health score is not where it should be. It should be 100 to be in the green zone, which is a healthy condition, but it is not 100. So there is some issue. And for that purpose, let's look into that. What is the exact issue with the service? So I'll click into this, and you can see over here, yes, this service is affected in terms of topology. You can see that the hosts which are being monitored under this particular service, train web server, those are affected. Those are not in the healthy conditions. And you can see the same thing on top, top window as well. So there are events which are affecting this particular service. If you click on these events, you can see on the left-hand side, yes, there are some of the events which are coming from third parties, such as Nagios, coming from Dynatrace as well, the servers that we are monitoring. and this service is not in the good condition. So now what do we do? What a NOC engineer will do? So NOC engineer will then look at what's the probable root cause for this service degradation over here. So what do we do is whatever data that we have collected from all the third parties that are monitoring this particular couple of web servers, plus if there are any tools that from BMC side we are monitoring these particular hosts, we collect all that data, we apply analytics on top of it and produces insights. And this is where you see that what we are seeing over here is there are two causal nodes, and for each of the causal nodes, the typical events which may be the root cause of this problem are highlighted over here. So there is some Tomcat related error that is happening. The server is not functioning rightly, which is why you can see the impact score is also 29, and the severity is also critical for this particular event. So now NOC engineer will look at this particular event, and they can go back and mitigate this particular problem. But how do they do that? I mean, do they have to then log into this particular web host and solve that problem, or do they want to go to Dynatrace to solve that problem, or do they want to do somewhere else to figure out, or collaborate with some other teams to figure out how to solve this problem? We make their lives easy. We also have provision for automations over here, so they don't have to leave this console. To be honest, whatever data insights that we are bringing in, we are also providing the automations which are available for mitigating this particular event that is happening. We have one of the offering called Intelligent Integrations, which helps to write down policies for automations by connecting to third-party tools which customers are using. So tools such as Ansible or BMC tools such as TSO, TSSA. So all those automations can be brought into the picture for remediating the events. So as you can see, NOC engineers will not have to go out of this console. They can just simply click on the automations which are available and simply figure out which of the automation which is relevant for this particular problem and run that automation. So once they run this automation, this particular problem will go away, and they can see that the service will come back into the normal healthy state. So this is how easy actually to identify the root cause, to mitigate noise. You don't have to look at multiple console to look at alerts. Everything will come into a single pane of glass. You don't have to look at different sets of matrices or different sets of points for analysis purpose. Everything is available over here, and you can also mitigate the problem by using automation. So these are the typical use cases that customers will benefit out of it. And in terms of predictions as well, customers, so in BMC Helix service monitoring, you can create on predictions tab and see predictions for our typical services that you are monitoring. I'll show you one of the past prediction which occurred in the past, and what insights that you have brought in. So for this particular service, which is called Media Service version 2, there were predictions that we have given by using Dynatrace data in the past. So you can see on around 9th of October time frame, we have produced some of the predictions to the NOC engineers, and it looks like they have already taken action on to this particular predictions because the predictions are closed. So that is really helpful. Before even the problem occurs, we notify users, NOC engineers, that a particular service may face some problem in future, and you better look at that service and start identifying that problem or mitigating those problems right away. So that actually helps NOC engineers to mitigate problems even before they occur. So yes, this is how easy it is to configure the connector. use the data from third party, and use the insights to mitigate those problems from NOC engineer side. So yes, that's all I wanted to cover. I hope this demo has been really helpful, and now we can open the floor for question and answers.
Thank you, Taz. I'm just going to, we've got lots of questions actually in
That's
the
great.
chat. So let me get you started, and then I'll unmute everyone because I've left them muted. So Roland had the first question. How about the two-way integrations that were available with TrueSight that many customers use, like mainframe or SCOM seamless integration, especially on talking back to the source system? So that's a question from Roland. I'm just going to try and find him to unlock.
Sure. So currently, intelligent integrations works unidirectional. It brings data from third party to intelligent integrations to BMC platform. Bidirectional support is part of roadmap for future consideration.
That's cool, Taz. And I think we got lots and lots of interaction here as we went through your presentation. So it obviously stimulated a lot of thought for customers, which is fantastic. We had that question from Roland, and we also got a question from another attendee, Stuart. It was around continuous optimization. So can you use Helix Intelligent Integrations to feed continuous optimization? That was a question that came in when you were presenting as well.
Sure. So for currently, we bring the data into discovery, operations management, and AIOps, not into continuous optimization. However, I mean, just a side note, not from the intelligent integration perspective, but intelligent automation has the automation capability, and it works with continuous optimization as well. But yeah, I mean, that's a separate product. For II, intelligent integration, we do not support continuous optimization.
Yeah. So separate license purchase for continuous optimization. I think you kind of answered this question as you were talking through it just there, right? But there was a question around how we feed or the flow, I guess, we feed the data using intelligent integration. So the question is based around, right? My understanding was all of the data is directly imported into discovery first. And then kind of shared out, I guess, on the back of that, based on all the discovered nodes that it pulls in. So maybe the question is based around the architecture of how intelligent integration works and how it's integrated back into BMC Helix.
Yes. So what typically happens is we share or ingest the topology data into discovery. In discovery, it gets consolidated and checks whether that data is duplicated. So if the host is being monitored from other third parties, or even with BMC Helix Discovery or other monitoring tools, if we are bringing data from those as well, we do not create any duplicate entries. We keep it simple. We consolidate everything into discovery first, and then we send that data into BMC Helix Operations Management as well, where we create devices, we create the events for those third-party data that we bring into.
Okay. Yeah, and we do have some good, I guess, supporting architecture documentation that kind of shows that, so we can share that after this event as well. Yeah. Okay, so the next question is all kind of based, and we got lots of questions, Taz, so that's a really sign of a great webinar, I think. So I think this next question is based around standards and standard based. So there's a question here based around, are there any generic third-party integration adapters available to support SNMP based or REST APIs from an integration point of view? So generic third-party integration adapters.
Currently for SNMP, we do not have support. We have a slightly different use case. We do support SNMP use cases as well, but currently that's using the log-stash-based approach that we have. But the plan, the plan for the future is we want to create a SNMP-based connector as well, which will bring in the data for the SNMP traps into the BMC Helix product suites. So yeah, currently there is a workaround. You can say, is that something that we have? but the actual connector is something that is planned for the future.
Yeah, so I'm glad you kind of mentioned that plan for the future and roadmap and that sort of things, because that did crop up as with every one of these kind of webinars. Other vendors maybe that we don't have currently got connectors. We got a couple of questions on that some people would like to see connectors for Grafana, Commvault, GCP, DARDAC, those type of ones, But without committing to say we're going to be releasing any additional connectors, the one thing I can let everyone know on this call is like we continue to evolve and add onto our connectors with not every single release, but nearly every release, I guess, at this stage. Like our latest release, 23.4, we've got a link that shows all the integrations in that one. We can share that with people so that you see all the current integrations. And Taz mentioned it right at the start of his presentation as well today. But we are continually adding on new vendors. We'll take those ones that you mentioned back to our product development team, and we'll let them know that these are the kind of things that our customers are asking for. These are the kind of connectors that our customers are asking for. But that's the only thing I guess we can kind of say. We evolve it, we build on it, and we will be adding in more and more. Taz, just one other thing, question that kind of came up around this was mainframe. So that cropped up once or twice throughout this as well. So we got some questions about connectors to BMC mainframe auto operator. Any thoughts on that particular one? Do we support that?
No, currently, yes, we do not support mainframe based integration. Yes.
Okay. So that's where we stand on that particular one. Okay. We got one here, right? Third-party topology is considered for server or serverless license points. So licensing is always something that crops up. I think it crops up in many different kind of flavors as well. So could you just take us through a little bit on the licensing and how the intelligent integration solution is licensed?
Correct. So currently, intelligent integrations is bundled with our AIOps SKU. So in terms of SaaS offering, we have standard and advanced pricing models. So once the customer purchases the AIOps SKU within those standard and advanced, they will get intelligent integrations bundled as part of the AIOps SKU there. In terms of specific questions, John, that you mentioned regarding server or serverless, so actually it depends on what data that you are bringing in and in what category it falls. So we have a exhaustive list, what we consider as server, what we consider as serverless. And for that purpose, we can connect with our sales team as well and pricing team as well. But yes, I mean, it depends on what particular topology that we are bringing in and what third party that we are talking about. So for example, I talked about the host from Dynatrace. So that will be a server from the pricing calculation point of view. But if somebody is configuring connector for VMware, or in future, whenever we are going to support GCP and Oracle based integrations, so what typical data that they will bring in, it will depend on what category it falls into. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So again, a sign, I guess, of people kind of paying attention to the demo as well as during the demo, someone's obviously spotted situations, which was in the service monitoring console. Situations is something that we've probably launched maybe in the last couple of years, but it's something as well that's evolving release after release. And I know from my time here, like I've seen about 4 or 5 different versions of situations, between situation fingerprinting, service out of the box service blueprints on the service modeling side of things, situation explainability. But maybe you could just take people through situations and what we had within the console there a couple of moments ago.
Sure. So yeah, that's a very good question. And what situations does in case of AIOps is, let's take an example and then walk through it. So let's say I have created I'm monitoring a service called train ticket booking application. And that application basically is running on, let's say, on some Kubernetes infrastructure. It has a web application server as well. It has a database. So there are multiple components underneath it. So now let's say what happens on some day, the Kubernetes gets affected. The database also has some problem, and somehow the web application also has some problem. All of these three things are coming in. So now there are events that are being generated. All these entities are monitored by different tools, and let's see, all the event floods has started coming in. Now NOC engineers will be confused what to take first. Should we resolve Kubernetes event, or should we resolve the database event, or should we resolve the web application event, or should we resolve any, if the UI itself is not working for the ticket booking application, or should we resolve that first? What's the way we should approach this problem, right? It's confusing, and most of the NOC teams will spend time in collaborating and figuring it out where to start with to solve this problem. So from that perspective, what we have done is we have created a situations. So what we do is we bundle the set of events together, and create a situation out of it. So let's say, in our case, there will be a situation will be created, called trend ticket application is not working. And under that situation, you will be able to see that there are events which are associated from Kubernetes, associated from database, associated from web application, associated from UI perspective. And the scoring mechanism that I have shown you as part of the demo, we will assign the score as well. And as per the score, the NOC engineers will be able to figure out that the problem with the highest impact score will be the one which needs to be paid attention into, and that may probably solve all their problems. They don't even have to worry about the other problems. Once we solve the issue with the highest score, it will solve all the other problems. So this is where situations will come into really, really handy. NOC teams does not have to look at all those 20, 50, 30 events that are coming in for the same application. They just have to look at the situation, look at which is the main impacting situation over there, and they have to solve that problem.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think customers who started using our situations capability love it. Even the developments we've launched recently, things around like Helix GBT, and the fact that we can now start using natural language summaries as well. It just makes situations even more powerful to help them, cut through that noise, just as you mentioned there a while ago, Taz. So that's really, really cool. Just a couple of more questions before we finish up. So we got a question here, right? What happens if a system is monitored by using multiple monitoring tools? So how does it work from that point of view?
Yes. In terms of if a particular host or entity is being monitored from multiple third-party sources, what happens is, for topology, once that data comes into discovery makes sure that the data is consolidated. So only one host is present. But yes, it will have the traces, and it will have the details around where this data is coming from. It will have all the relationship that I have shown into the discovery topological graph, where the server, the host that we looked into from Dynatrace, it was connected to many other software instances and many other monitoring tools that we're running into. So in the similar manner, it will just have one entry of that particular host or entity into discovery, but it will have relationship with all the monitoring tools that are monitoring that particular host. By making sure this, what we do is we make sure that customers will not have duplicate hosts which are present either in discovery or either in vHOM as well. And that is where the data duplication problem is mitigated. In terms of events and in terms of matrix, it will be correlated into BMC Helix operations management. You will see the multiple events which are occurring from third-party tools that will show as a different set of line item into BMC Helix operations management. Matrix will be consolidated under the single host that is being monitored. And in terms of AIOps, you can see all the events which are affecting a particular service underlying that host. collaborated into the single pane of glass of AIOps as well. So all in all, what I'm trying to say is that the data gets consolidated in topology data gets consolidated in discovery, and rest of the data comes into BMC Helix operations management and AIOps, but it gets related to the problem management there.
Yeah, no, I got it. That sounds great. Yeah. Okay. I know we're getting tight on time, but we did get a question on telcos. So, obviously a very specific audience like telcos or CSPs. So when it comes to telcos, like what telco scope do we cover to onboard telco events using intelligent integration? So very specific to the telco industry.
See, the plan is to bring in data from the network monitoring tools into the platform. Some of the network monitoring tools we already support. For example, Micro Focus, NNMI, and others as well. You can go through the list as well. And some of the other aspects are from the SNMP perspective, SNMP traps perspective. Yes, we have that in the roadmap. But we'll be glad to hear if there is anything specific tools that you want us to look into as a part of our product backlog. Please do go ahead and mention that into the chat so that we can add that as part of our product backlog as well.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Listen, there was a couple of other kind of questions, all right? They're looking for links, to workarounds for a couple of things. So we'll supply all of those after today's webinar. There was one question specifically around kind of mainframes and how we handle any integration there. Do we have any documentation that we can share with people afterwards that can help them with that particular one, or is it a roadmap item for us that mainframe integration will be coming down the road?
Nothing in particular from the mainframe documentation perspective, but yes, I mean, there are few items that we have in the roadmap, and as we progress, as we build capabilities into our product, yes, we'll make sure that our customers, our audience is aware, and probably yes, we can have this webinar session continuously to make sure that our customers are aware.
Great. Okay. Well, listen, Taz, I think we worked our way down through all of those questions. So really, really cool. Yeah, over to you, Samantha, just to maybe close us up as we hit time.
Yeah, so thank you. And for anyone that does have any US colleagues, we will be running a session exactly the same on the 1st of November. So if there is anything else that you want repeated, although we will put this on YouTube, you're welcome to join that event. It may be late for some people in EMEA, but I will make sure I send that link. Also, any points around links, documentation, we do gather that information after the webinar. I will be sending out a thank you email with the Q&A from today, so we'll correlate the answers together, any links, and also to where the recording will be. If there are anything as far as topics that you want to cover, I will be regularly speaking with John and Taz and also the product team. Please fill in the survey that will come to us post-event. It literally will take you a few minutes. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and also if there's anything from other presenters, do let us know. Other than that, thank you for everyone attending. I would have liked to have opened it up live for you to physically speak, but we've been very fortunate to have a lot of questions. So if there is anything else based on the time, because we've literally finished on the hour, we will follow up independently from this session. And thank you to Taz and John for the session, and thank you for everyone joining. Have a good day.
Just take care.
Thank you.